world. So me being Libyan is not necessary. Okay. And he tried to use this as an analogy and it backfired. Why? Because then eternity, although it could be the case in this world, is not true across all possible worlds. And so then there's a possible world where the Father doesn't beget. There's a possible world where it's only the Father who's God, and the Son doesn't exist, and the Spirit doesn't exist.
Yeah.
Okay, and he saw what was happening in that conversation. That's why he didn't want to. It began to be a shouting match because he had no idea what he was talking.
Yeah. And
He wouldn't answer the question.
that's the
Yeah.
sad reality of Christians. And the thing is, if you continue to ask meaningful questions about their belief, it'll eventually crack. One example is when you ask, for example, and this happened with me, I asked a Christian once on TikTok, how is the Father greater than the Son? Jesus says the Father is greater than I. How can God be greater than God? And his entire thing is, well, he's greater not in essence. Yeah, exactly. In role or something like that, or he didn't say role specifically, but something along the lines of something like that. So then the question becomes, okay, well, where does his role come from? Who dictates God's role? And nothing dictates God. It's everything of God is just of his essence, of himself, in and of himself. So then the role comes from the nature. So how are they equal in nature, but somehow different in role if the role comes from the nature? Their nature clearly is not the same. So when you keep asking meaningful questions, it eventually breaks apart.
Yeah, so the reason that doesn't exactly, you touched upon it. The reason that doesn't work is that, and this is the example he'll give. He'll say, look, you say you could have a boss at work, and you're subject to your boss in a way because he's there's a hierarchy there. But both of you are human, so both of you have the same nature, although he has authority over you, right? And then in the beginning when you think about it, so okay, this makes sense. But the reason it doesn't make sense in the context of the Trinity, because authority is not essential to human nature.
Yep.
Meaning a human nature could be a human and have high or low authority. He could be the highest or the lowest. He'll still be human. Authority is essential to God. The highest authority is essential to his essence, meaning that if X lacks the highest authority, then X could not be the most high God. And I mentioned this to him in our first debate. He said, can you stop using letters, Lubiano? That's what he said. So that's why that doesn't work. If something is God, then that thing has authority over all. If Jesus doesn't have authority over all, then logically inferior and hence cannot be the highest God.
Absolutely.
So exactly, you mentioned doesn't work.
Yeah, and this is a part of the reason why I think the Christians don't use the contingency argument, which I believe is by far, by any metric, better than any other argument for God. I think the contingency argument is if you're looking at arguments for God, is the best argument for God. And Christians just can't use it because it dictates that anything that is made of parts or anything that is limited in any capacity cannot be necessary, cannot be God. So if a Christian were to use it, they would have to look at Jesus and think, well, Jesus put himself in a physically limited body. He didn't know everything or whatever according to the Gospels. Therefore, he can't be the necessary existence. Therefore, he can't be God. And that's why they, like William Lane Craig, even though they appeal to Muslims who use the contingency argument, will take only the kalam cosmological argument, because that only deals with causality and things that begin to exist as opposed to things that are limited and only exist because of other things. That, again, would just kind of encircle them. They'd be encircling themselves in a contradiction, unfortunately.
Right. Yep.
Yeah.
Spot on.
Yeah. But I feel like we can make an entire series, like just going on and on and on. It'd be a lot of fun. If you guys want to see a series, let us know, inshallah.
Let us know in the comments.
Yeah. Let's switch up gears. I want people to start putting questions in the comments, inshallah, if you have any for Libiano or for myself. And we'll go from there, inshallah. We're going to get close to wrapping up. What's up?
I just want to address something I've been seeing because I have the chat here.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
So I want to address my position on the Torah because, that somebody's having a little bit of... Yeah, so my position on the Torah that we general information of that it's
sorry, bro, your mic is cutting off just a little bit. Maybe if you turn up the sensitivity. Yeah.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
I don't know.
I think it's good now.
Yeah.